Dead silence. Now, hi everybody. So Tina's running a little late, and I suspected she might have been her event today. As you hear, I'm loading a Pokemon. Ended about a half hour ago, so traffic ensues, I guess. So I recently bought, and you can check this out on HaslageNet's YouTube, some Detective Pikachu stuff. So I'm going to open up the Detective Pikachu packs. Sans one of them. So once I log into here, you can actually watch me do that while we wait for Tina. And it looks like she's starting to come alive. She's actually in Discord. So I'm kind of just waiting. And yay, 5 coins. So we're just kind of waiting for her to get here. What am I going to do? Collection. Oops. Here we go. So we got 6 packs we're going to open today. So let's see what we get. Alright. Number 2. Huh. I didn't get this one or this one in the regular packs. So number 3. Okay. Number 4. Number 5. Ludicolo. And number 6. Surprise attack really bothers me. It does nothing if you get tails. That bothers me a lot. But that was quick. It's much more fanfare when you can open a bunch more. What you gonna do? Alrighty. Let's see. Yeah, she popped on Discord, but she is idle. And she's inactive on Facebook. La la la. So, if you're interested, if you pop onto Discord and would like to earn a Pokemon Team Up Booster Pack for playing me, win or lose, you'll get one. Pop onto Discord, join the Pokemon TCGO Battle Live channel, and then we can partake in a game. I'll play with one of my standard decks, you play with one of your standard decks, and you get a TCGO booster pack. Just for fun, just to fill some time. Just like last week, if she doesn't get here within a certain amount of time, and then we'll call it. She ran an hour and a half late yesterday. I just, after an hour, I'm kind of like, eh. But if she does show up, the topics today is the same as what was supposed to be last week: organized play and the ability to do it from the comfort of your home. As I mentioned last week, I had a player come to my store for a League Cup. Or actually, I should say he was here for the League, or the Premier Challenge that was during the League Cup. And because of the way Pokemon does seasons, he was under the impression a new season was a new championship, period. As in, at the end of each season was a new world championship, which isn't really something Pokemon does. It's pretty much regionals, and then nationals, and then one worlds. And so the guy was like, oh. So I feel like we need to break it down a little bit for the people who don't really understand how it works. Plus, for those of you who play the video games, you have an opportunity to make points just by being at home and playing online. So you have an option if you can't find something locally, which is sad. At one point in time, there were, at least here in Ohio, there were a lot more people running Pokemon video game stuff, but as interest has kind of died down, people are just have moved on to other things, or they switched the card game solely, or maybe they're into fighting games or whatever now. So it's just the way it is. So let's see. Oh, they moved into a Guardians Rising promo card. Okay, so let's see. This deck won me a game last time, so let's see how it does today. So my goal is to get Zoro-Aura out so I can get some free retreats. Okay. Yeah. Yarn. I'm gonna save there with something real quick. Oh, well, gee. This is a Alolan Executor deck. I got my butt handed the last time with this deck. And neither of us are particularly weak against it. Or each other, I should say. No bueno. I can basically do a free attack on this guy. Except I'm not. So I'm gonna use his ability, or his ability, but his move, because. Wow. Boop. Done. And now, next turn, I can use his attack. Oh, what? Not what I thought he was going to do. $20 more damage for each type of basic. Oh, okay, so we have to do multiple type deck. I am a little confused about how he did that. Here, let's do this. And then, gotta get rid of that. If he doesn't knock me out this turn, I'm going to potion. Oh, I see what he did. He's gonna damage each turn. Okay. He should have let me finish my move. He didn't know what he's going to do next turn, but I'll take the win. I think it said I won a booster packs. So Tina just popped in.
Hey, I'm here.
I was about to say, come on over, the Discord is fine. Okay.
I just got home. I thought I was going to be home a little bit earlier, but I was eating Nerf.
It's fine. I won my third match in a row with my electric deck, and I'm so happy with myself right now. Okay, let me go see the pack I won. So, interesting thing popped up. While you're getting ready, I'm just going to talk to the air. So, PokeBeach revealed this, and it was posted a while ago for the rest of us, but we're getting patches to give out at pre-releases with Team-Up Pokemon. And so I thought that was kind of neat. Which is also a weird thing is typically my distributor doesn't give us the product for the pre-release until like the day of, but we got our product in today, which is unusual. But I also wonder if maybe that's the delay on getting our product for League this month because we haven't gotten it yet. And I'm not at work, so I don't know what else came in today. Because we have a League challenge tomorrow. So I'm kind of hoping they sent everything all at once. But you know, typically the League stuff comes from Pokemon directly, while the pre-release stuff comes from the distributor. So so I'm a little confused about what the plan is here from Pokemon. So I'm kind of hoping that, you know, everything shows up because I don't know how they're like when they stopped. How do they do it? They changed the way the promo cards for the staff come along. So Pokemon Company was sending them separately in their own package, and because they used to be packed with the leak or the pre-release kits, but they were getting damaged. So that was great because then you'd get them intact. So I don't know what they've actually all changed, and maybe these changes are why there's such a delay with League this month. At least with my League, I don't know about anybody else's because I reported like almost a month ago for April. It's like as soon as I think the 16th of last month or whenever the day was for my League challenge, I reported the League and then ordered the supplies. So I'm not quite sure if anybody else is experiencing that. And if you are, please let us know. So are you situated yet, or are you still getting ready? I lost her? Okay. She's dead now. Move on without her. Okay. Anyway, what's that? Oh, things popped up on my screen. Hold on. Okay. I have a feeling she walked right, like, into the door, or walked in, got on the computer, said hi, and then went off and... Man, I ain't getting spam some messages. Oh, I see. Okay. So while she's setting up, back to my thing here. Trying to respond to the Facebook messages. Here we go. Okay. Oops. What's this? Minimize.
Okay, I just got OBS up.
Okay. When are you going to be connected, or are you connected now, or?
I just got TCGO up. You can start streaming, and we can talk about OP really quick while I'm starting this up.
I was going to say, I've been streaming for the last 17 minutes.
So what are we talking about tonight? OP?
Organized play, yeah. So I was gonna, because something else had popped up recently, and I was gonna add. Oh, okay. So, well, here, let's wait until you're actually online before we get into the conversation itself. Let me go back to the start here. Boop. Okay. And let's see if I can find my thing. There. Okay. Do I have something over here? Alright. As people see things flashing on the screen here.
So I learned this election how hard it is to actually run against an incumbent and 5 other people. I know you're streaming this right now, but having 7 people on the ballot and is really hard to overthrow an incumbent, especially especially if you agree on the facts of why you're running against that incumbent, right? So that can be really rough.
When I ran in '96 or '97, whatever it was, there was no incumbent and it was 6 people running, and I got 3rd place out of the 6. The guy who's currently running for the ward now is one of the people I beat in that election. And I originally, when I was going to run for office this term, before I was like, you know what? Why would I want to complicate my life more? I actually seriously thought about it. I don't. Who wants to put that stress on themselves? It was basically a whole bunch of other people telling you what you needed to do to, you know, I don't know. I feel like if you're going to volunteer to do something, maybe you should have some control over it. I don't like the feeling of basically being told, well, since you're volunteering to do this, and now you have to jump through all these hoops to do it. This seems weird to me. But that's what being elected is. And then, yeah, you get paid, but technically nobody... I mean, how do I put this? You're kind of looking to get a job, I guess, in some cases. And in some cases, you are volunteering. But both ways, you're basically being interviewed. And then people are voting to state if they're going to hire you or not. But my hope, or at least this is what I believe, that if you're going to run for office, my hope is your intention is because you enjoy it, first off, and second, that you have some good intentions. You see things that need to be fixed, and you think you have maybe the solution to it. I just after giving some thought, the thought of running for office just for people to say, you know what, I don't like your ideas, and then not get elected feels crummy. I don't know. And then to have to fight for it, I kind of like the old interview process where you submit an application, you maybe get interviewed, and then they just tell you yes or no. You don't got to worry about seeing it on the news. I've never once been applied for a job other than running for office, and it ended up on the news. Well, Anthony applied for event organizer, and he was turned down. But we hired blah instead, and here's the reasons why. Because this is exactly what politics is, and it's stressful. I don't pity you, because you did it to yourself.
Look. All I'm trying to say is, I'm talking about like stuff like financial transparency and sometimes the when they buy something, the vendors or the contractors they use, yeah, that's public information, but you have to go dig for it. I would like to see some of that, on the website and to see if there was a bidding process. That's part of the reason, that some things I'm talking about, just common sense things, because that's the taxpayers' money, the homeowners' money, and I don't own a home right now, so I'm talking about literally other people's money. I'm not talking about my own money. But I think that it should be spent fairly and not to excess, like, hey, we're spending all this money when we don't have to.
No, I agree with you. Transparency should be a goal. So when I ran for treasurer, I lost to the incumbent, and then the moment she left office, she switched to a higher office, the auditor. And the moment she did, every public record, like basically she stopped posting to the website for the city. You go look at the city's website right now for auditor, and she hasn't updated a single thing. Her predecessor updated up until he left office, and she hasn't posted a single thing. That page hasn't been updated since 2015 when she took over. So that just smacks of like, either do you not know what your job requires? I mean, you're supposed to be posting this stuff publicly. What she does instead is she will once a year maybe she'll call a local newspaper and say, hey, here's the salaries for the employees at the city, the public employees. And then they'll post it in the newspaper once. It's supposed to, this stuff's supposed to be on the website somewhere or whatever. And it doesn't even get reported to the state, because you go to the state and you want to look this stuff up and you can't, because the transparency isn't there. She puts it in the most obscure places, so unless you're subscribing to a specific newspaper, you're not going to find it. And it bothers me that we're not this transparent in this city. We have technology, we have internet. Yes, it took us a few years to get good internet. Which is weird for a city that's only 35 miles away from Cleveland. But, the city spends $100,000 a year on IT. You would think that the person who's getting paid this money would go, hey, auditor, hey, treasurer, whatever, do you need something put on the website? And they'll be like, oh, yeah, here. And then this stuff would be put on the website. It makes me wonder what this person's getting paid for, because obviously the information isn't being published. Then I'm like, well, you could also post stuff on Facebook. You can do Twitter. They don't do any social media, which is another thing that bothered me. I think government should do social media. I mean, they're paying, again, a guy like somewhere close to $100,000 a year. Maybe he should be running the social media for the city.
Yeah, we actually have this complete opposite problem here. We do have social media, but we're highly censored on social media here when it comes to issues. We have something here called the Texas Open Meeting Act, which it says that during open meetings we can address a board, or because there's always a board or electives to a spot that it says that we can talk about anything we want to the board, and the Commissioner's Court here makes us sign a paper that says we can only talk about things on the agenda, which goes against the Texas Open Meeting Act, and on top of that, it goes against freedom of speech. So that's something that this area has been fighting for. So, and actually a lot of people don't know about that. So that's something that I've been talking about that's a county issue. And that's something I would like to see fixed. But of course, I'm just a little fish in a pond talking about it.
Because that brings me to ask, do they utilize Robert's rules for managing meetings? Because it has strict adherence to...
Yes.
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 Yeah.
A million times yes.
Yeah.
Yes, everything here uses Robert's Rule of Order. But the general announcements come at the... when they use Robert's Rule of Order, when they do the agenda, they have public comments at the beginning. But according to the Texas Open Meeting Act, you can talk about anything to either if it's a board of trustees or if it's a general board, if it's an open meeting. Yeah, but for the commissioner's court, they make you sign a paper that says it's on the agenda. But according to Texas Open Meeting Act, it doesn't have to be on the agenda.
Okay. So, is there anything else you want to go on to this topic, or can we go to? Because I feel like people are, I don't know how many people are watching, but maybe zoning out a little bit because we're kind of skewed into politics when we really need to skew into Pokemon.
Sure, let's talk about Pokemon.
Okay, so organized play. How long have you been involved in organized play with Pokemon?
I've actually been in Pokemon before it was Pokemon Organized Play. I've been playing since the Wizards era, so the entire time.
Okay, because I mean, I started. I was not playing it correctly. I was collecting it mostly, starting when it first came out back in base set. We didn't start playing it correctly until 2003 when organized play started. Actually 2002 I should say. And then 2003 organized play started. I became a league leader. But occasionally I get questions now. You know how we kind of do seasons? Like there's right now we're in the team up season. This is team up 3. I think April's team up 3. Yeah. And then next month will be the Unbroken Bond season, and then there'll be 3 months of that. And of course, the video game also follows seasons. We started with Sun, then Moon, and now we're in the Ultra season. So Pokemon didn't always do this. Originally, it was just one 10th, maybe it was 9ish months of just. This is the season year, and you're playing for the national / the worlds, and you're just accruing points to get the invite to the invitational event. So a number of years ago, not really, like 2016, was it 2016 when they started doing the quarterly season thing?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was the end of 2016. So. Yeah.
So and they started that because what people did is collected all of their points early on, and got their invite extremely early, and didn't play for the rest of the year. And what that did is no one showed up to events for the rest of the year, and organizers didn't have numbers anymore, and we had really small turnouts for events at the end of the year.
So it started off with a League Cup system. So they got rid of the cities and the states, and they said, okay, now stores are going to be the anchor for the trading card game. And this is at the end of 2016, and so the stores will get league challenges, and if a store does really well, they'll get league cups. They didn't really have a hard set rules base. They didn't really have numbers, but the general consensus was you do 3 months well, you get league challenges, and then 3 more months, then you get league cups. And now there's more number bases to get up to that level. But the thing that happened was now that there's 3 quarterly seasons throughout the year for the trading card game, where, as I said, we're in Team Up 3, and then next comes Unbroken Bond 1, 2, and 3 before we hit the North American Internationals and then the World Championships. And so, for example, earlier this month I had a League Cup. And this is the Team Up League Cup. So there's a League Cup every quarter. So I would have another League Cup next quarter for Unbroken Bond. And I also, because the new season started for the video game Ultra, I had a Ultra Premier Challenge. So essentially, people with the games Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon could participate in a small tournament, because the turnout, at least for the video game in North Central Ohio, isn't huge. But somehow I got a player from northern or central Michigan and another player from central Indiana and one from western Pennsylvania at this tournament, because point seeking is I guess when there's so few tournaments in this general area for video game, you really have to go to these far off events. So then of course local players. So we had this small tournament, and one of the players, he didn't do very well. and he was a little upset with himself. And this was so he was like, well, that sucks because I have to get. He was telling me he needed to get 500 points, whatever the requirement was for a video game. I don't know for the requirement for World's video game. I think it's 300 points or something like that right now. Is it 200, 250? Do you happen to know off the top of your head the video?
For Masters, I believe it's 500.
It is 500. Okay, that seems awfully high for the video game. So he was very disheartened that he didn't even get any points because he just didn't. We had 8 players and he got 5th place or 6th place or something like that. And I was like, when did you start playing? And he was like, this is literally my first event. I was like, that's weird to start playing like at the end of the season year. Like, he's like, wait, what do you mean? I'm like, well, the season year ends like the summer. And he's like, wait, I thought it was all in quarters. I'm like, oh, no. They divide up the year in quarters. So there's this is Team Up. The next is Unbroken Bonds, and then there was one before Team Up. I've already forgotten the name of it, and then you can get so many events over the course of each quarter, and then all your points added up, and then you get the invite if you do well enough for Worlds. And he did not know this because apparently it's not explained well enough on Pokemon's website. And so I said, well, here.
I think it's explained perfectly well on Pokemon's website.
Maybe he didn't understand what he was reading. I don't know. I understand it. He didn't. But if he's not understanding it, maybe other people aren't either. But it may just be him. I don't know. Anyway, I told him, well, why don't you just attend events? Don't necessarily need to be driving 4 hours for an event, because he drove 4 hours to get to our store. I told him, here is an easy way for you to play events, and you don't even have to leave your house. And he's like, whoa, what? Well, first off, I told him you can go to like Poke Beach and stuff and, get into, some, events or whatever. But, I mean, because you can play anybody online. Just get good at the game. But what people don't know, if you play the video game, is that you can actually go onto the Pokemon Global link and you can actually play and earn championship points if you do really well on their monthly tournaments. Plus, you get a nifty little Pokemon for participating. A rare Pokemon that you can't really get anywhere else. So usually, depending on how many people show up to play for these online tournaments, sometimes it's 64, sometimes it's top 128, sometimes it's top 256, depends on how many people participate. You can get championship points this way. This is how, from your home, you can earn CP to get an invite. Because this is how they make it available when you can live in the middle of nowhere where there are no premier challenges or mid-season showdowns and earn championship points for the video game. And I have to assume they're going to continue doing this for Sword and Shield. Because my brother, who is a video game player, he really enjoys this. He doesn't really care to go to the physical events. He enjoys the online events. He's not necessarily CP seeking or championship point seeking, but they're competitive. And in the Global Link events, you basically play as much as you want, and your average overall is what determines your placement. And then overall rankings determine your ranking throughout, and then if you get championship points or not. You can go check it all out on Pokemon's website and on the Global Link website for the various events, and they do different themes. So it's not the same thing every month. And it's outside, typically, what you would see in person with an organizer such as myself, or Jonathan in Toledo, or AJ in the Akron area, or Laura in Columbus area here. And this is all Ohio, by the way.
I think we need to talk about the future of organized play with the video game, especially with especially because right now the only way to get the Switch is with the entire setup. Are they going just to make the thing itself and not with the dock? Because there is a big price gap between the DS, right, and the Switch?
Well, rumor mill says that there's going to be a Switch Lite at some point. I'm not holding my breath for it. And I think the consideration for such a thing is in consideration for Pokemon. I mean, because if they were to release a Switch Lite, it would be around the time that Sword and Shield releases. I assume October, November, December period. Because that would be when it would best sell, I think, with Pokemon. And then that would basically be a where the Joy-Cons don't detach and everything's one piece and there's just the cord that comes with it. It's not complicated. Yeah, I feel like because the dock is, what did they say? The dock is $80.
Yeah.
So you get rid of the dock, that's $80 gone. You get rid of the detachable Joy-Cons, make it all one piece. That's another $30-$40 of extra.
Well, I think a lot of money just comes from the dock itself, but you don't need the dock. You just need that external micro USB, whatever port it is.
USB-C, I think it is.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you don't care about it being on your TV and the Mini is a real thing that comes out, and then it'll get somewhere around $200, which is right where the 3DS XL came out as. So that seems more doable, at least to me. And then knowing Pokemon or Nintendo, they'll come out with a package that is like, buy the new, the Switch Lite, whatever, with Pokemon, whatever, for $50, $250 as a package deal. And maybe they'll throw some like needle stuff with it, or maybe some Pokemon Sword and Shield skins or something. I don't know, but it seems like something that. And isn't that what they did like recently with the 3DS XL? Was with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon was a Pokemon 3DS XL. I swear that was something. It was something like $250 or something like that, right? So
it was a 2DS XL.
Oh, well, so that would have been cheaper, yeah. But they've done it before.
I know a lot of people who got involved in Pokemon when they did the new 2DS, which it wasn't the piece of cake anymore. It was the 2DS, but it could flip up. Because I know a lot of people weren't happy with the piece of pie. It looks like a piece of cake. I know a lot of people weren't happy with that one because people were peeking over the DS. But I think Organized Play did a good preview with Let's Go Pikachu, but I don't know if it didn't seem that was as big as it could have been. I mean, it definitely was marketed to the Go community, but I don't know how I feel about the entire thing in general, right? Hopefully there will be a VG, obviously, for the Switch. But I think Organized Play moving from traditionally the handheld game to something that isn't no longer a handheld game with the dock, because if they get rid of the dock, it'll be successful. But with the dock, I don't think it's going to be successful.
I mean, because you have to lower the price, and as I said, the dock is like $80 of the value on its own, and then taking away some of its, separating the pieces out, which gets rid of some of the infrared or whatever, with the Bluetooth technology, removing that out of there, or at least from the Joy-Con. Yeah, I mean, they can probably get it down to maybe even $150. That would be great, and then sell it with Pokemon for $200. I mean, they'd probably kill with that. That would be great. End of quarter 4, 2018, ended in March. So I took the opportunity and bought a Switch for $265. And then I got Smash Brothers, which is literally the only game I own with it. So after all was said and done, I barely spent $300. And because I bought a pre-owned copy, I don't need a new copy of Smash Brothers. So I mean, the Switch is already going down in price. You can find them in some places. You can find them as bundles at $300. You can find them discounted at some places. If you want to buy a pre-owned one and have it added, but I haven't even checked, but like I'm hoping they fix the guard on it for the screens because those with the docks. I've been wanting, or I've been thinking about getting one of those dock covers that slide on and then protect your screen. But you can also buy screen covers. But I feel like if they did the mini or the light version of the Switch, they would probably sell a lot more type of like covering accessories, like what do they call those little cases? So I mean, there's a market out there to do it, especially with bundled with Pokemon. I don't know what else would be able to sell it like that. But as far as organized play goes, you need to play all year, but it is broken up during the course of the quarters. Well, we say quarters, but it's really trimesters. It is literally three, too many threes. 3 pairings of 3 months within a year, which then culminates somewhere around North American internationals, and then you get all your championship points together and are invited to Worlds, which typically is in the United States. And actually, I don't remember it not being in the United States. Actually, it was in Japan a while ago.
It was in Canada in 2013.
Wasn't it in Japan a while ago?
Oh, not Worlds, no.
Really?
We've always had Worlds in the U.S.
It's always okay. So it's been somewhere in North America.
We had 1 year in Canada.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
North America.
Vancouver, BC, Canada in 2013. That was the one time they had it out of the States. And that was a test run the organized play had, but there were some issues with shipping the trophies across the border, so I don't think Pokemon Organized very well we're going to do that again. And I don't blame that for that. I can blame you can blame Customs for that all you want, but
well, I imagine there's because there's so many players here in the United States moving into Canada, and now with the laws, everybody would have to get passports now. And then you have the birth certificates, ID, social security cards. If you don't have all those things already, and I can't even find my birth certificate. I don't even know where it's at. So I mean, that's just a lot of money to spend just to cross the border to go play trading cards or video games. But trying to think of the other. Oh, okay, so in Ohio, every year is a game or is a convention called Origins Game Fair.
it's Origins Game Fair.
Yes, and it happens at the Greater Columbus Convention Center. And this year is June 12th through 16th in 2019. Well, I guess it is 2019. And it's about 8 weeks away. And so Pokemon, a little story here. So last year at North American Internationals, I was talking with the former head of Organized Play about doing a regional here in Ohio. So he was on board.
What you mean when the professor lead the professor program?
So what?
Because the former lead of Organized Play...
He's gone now. Yeah, we're not naming names.
Okay, but we've had the same head lead of Organized Play since the start. I think you're talking about the professor program.
Are we? No, we were having a discussion. He left the professor program. He was now the head of Organized Play. Which
right, but we had the same head of Organized Play since 2004. Before that, it was the WotC. It's so hard not saying name. But it was the current guy. It was run by someone from WotC. Under WotC, it was run by a different person.
Hold on. Now you're making me look at things. Give me a sec. No.
History, so...
No. So I'm looking. So you know what? I'm just gonna spill the beans. Okay. So the current manager of Organized Play is Chris Brown. Okay.
I'm talking. You said the head of Organized Play. That's
okay. Okay, you're going a little further. Okay, so the current manager of Organized Play is Chris Brown, and not the rock guy.
He's the what's it called? Player coordinator.
Well, his technical title is manager of Organized Play. He replaced the guy I was talking to. Poops, just that quick. Oh, sorry, Josh.
Talk about Massey.
Massey, yeah. So he replaced Josh Massey, who was the manager of organized play, who before that ran the professor's program, or also in conjunction ran the professor's program. Okay, see, now I've added all these people. Thanks, Tina. Okay, so I was trying to get a regional here in Ohio. So at North Americans last year, I met with Josh, and I got my stage 2 professorship. The plan was get a regional here in Ohio. And one of the requirements is you have to have an event background, which I've been organizing events since the early 2000s. Not a big deal. Recently, I organized an event with over 600 people. I think they required, if I look at it, 500 people. Yes. Check. Do you have a business entity? Yes. I run a hobby shop. Check. Actually, HaslageNet technically, but check. And then request for proposal, and then there's a bunch of stuff here. So essentially, it's a conversation we were having back last summer, and then in January, I get a message back from Chris Brown telling me that Josh is no longer with the company, which in my heart sank, and I'm like, oh my God, no! And then Carlton is like, okay, so here's some information I need from you. Just get back to me. Okay, so I got back to him. I hadn't heard back for a while. I said, hey, I haven't heard back from you. So he gets back to me at the beginning of this month and says, hey, we're not going to do an event in Cleveland. We're not going to do a regional in Cleveland. I'm like, oh, okay. I've been working on this for a year. I went and talked to a couple of different places, Cleveland Convention Center, Wolstein among them, because they're my top choices.
I don't like talking about this, but if you look at the United States, we already have a lot of regionals, and I think we talked about this before about how many regionals the Ohio area has.
We have no regionals in Ohio.
We have one drivable regional.
Oh, you mean drivable, yeah.
Texas, we have one drivable regionals. I live in Houston, Texas, which is the 4th, almost 3rd largest city in the United States. You don't have a regionals. You also look at Europe, that lost a lot of its regionals. If you look at the European regionals, they are lacking the regionals that they had last year. They don't have the Leipzig regionals this year. I don't think they have the Stuttgart regionals this year. They have a lot of special events that are not regionals. Special events are not regionals. You do not get the same prize outcomes as you do as a special event in a regional. So I think as someone who lives in the United States, we should not be complaining about our regionals. That's my personal opinion. Especially if you live in Ohio, if you have 4 drivable regionals.
I wasn't complaining about regionals. I was saying we have enough demand. We should be able to have a regional in the state. We have more than enough demand. We have more than enough people here with AJ, Ryan, Laura. Laura.
I don't disagree, but the fact that Ohio does have the NAIC and they do have the special event with Origins. A special event may not be a regional, but it's considered a regional, being the point value. It's a 200 CP event, so even though you guys don't have because organized play helps pay for the support for regionals, especially with prizes. So special event, you still get the CP, which I think Origins Game Fair does have the special event. I talked to AJ. I don't think he got a special event last year, but I think he did get one the year before. So I mean, if your state has a special event, I mean, the fact that you don't have a regional, I'm not going to cry over it. I mean, I really wish Texas had a special event, because Texas, we're the size of literally almost 4 states, and we have one regional. So
before you went off on that, literally, the day AJ announced that he was doing a special event was the day I got an email back from Chris Brown saying that we weren't getting one in Cleveland. So, yeah. So that was when Origin was getting a special event.
And I no offense to you, Anthony, and I know we're on the stream, but organized play will always give things to AJ over you. I mean, AJ
no! Oh my God! What? Yeah, I know.
I mean, AJ has been in.
I've been here longer than him, man.
But I think he got the good word from Ryan Patterson, who's also been in it for.
I've been here longer than him too. I'm literally the second guy on the stay here. The first guy's gone.
I don't think it matters how long you've been in the game. I mean, I've been in the game since the beginning, and I mean, I don't have to talk about my situation, but I think, look, like politics, there's favoritism.
Oh no, we all know this. That's why I was like a couple years ago when they were just picking their favorites for the for regionals and internationals, or no, nationals and internationals.
Well,
we were like, get a process in.
Sometimes they go on merit. I'm going to be fair to organized play. Sometimes they do go on merit. They supposedly have a blind picking system for their ICs and worlds. Supposedly, I don't know if that's true or not, because I don't run the program. I don't want to talk crap about them because I don't actually know how they do their system. But I put my player ID in there. Obviously, they can type that up. Look, hey, that's home of me, whatever. Hey, yeah, Tina applied for 3 worlds, 4 ICs, 5 ICs or something like that. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a pattern of events that happen. If you look like Mikey Collins, he has his own YouTube channel, and he's actually a really cool guy. He's been a very positive force in the community with his YouTube channel. I actually don't watch his YouTube channel, so if Mike's watching this, I'm sorry, Mike, I don't watch your YouTube channel.
No, I think him and Age are at league right now, so, or actually, you know what, it's almost 10 o'clock, maybe they're on the way home.
So, because I've staffed with Mikey. He's a really cool guy. He understands me, and Mikey's actually really good with the kids. And he's that type of person who can. He's that type of person that seems to be able to de-escalate any situation. And when you're a part of something like organized play, and you deal with kids that might be doing things like cheating, and you have a parent, my angel child would never cheat. It just seems like Mikey Collins can always de-escalate that situation, like, well, I saw this kid do that, and he can say it in a very respectful way, and he always seems to know how to say the right things at the right time, and that takes a lot. That actually doesn't just take a lot of practice. I think for him, it's part of his personality. I don't see Mikey Collins practicing that. I see Mikey Collins as a person who just can naturally do that, and that's something that organized play definitely needs, and that's why I think someone like Mikey has been invited to, I think now all 4 ICs, if I'm not mistaken. And someone, if someone's watching this, and correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure he's been invited to all 4 ICs and worlds. But I think if you look at some of these people's natural abilities rather than how long they've been playing, someone like Mikey, I think 100% deserves it. I don't really want to talk about other specific names in general, but there's definitely some favoritism. But when it comes to someone like Mikey Collins, I don't think there's any favoritism with Mikey. For someone like AJ, he was the ex-PTO. The PTO program is dead, but Pokemon definitely likes people that they trust. The PTO program is something like they checked your credit history. They wanted to make you had to do an interview on the phone with them. Supposedly, you had to be recommended by somebody else who was already part of the inner circle of uppers. And that's how, like, or an existing PTO, like when Master Professor Birch, he's I still believe he's in the Professor program. He recommended for Houston to have another premier tournament organizer, and that person basically got picked because they were recommended by Master Professor Birch, who's been he's actually one of the only remaining Master Professors, probably, who's still doing things from the WotC days. And you see some of these people who've gone back to WotC days, like all of Team Compendium, for example. I don't think there's any favoritism there. They deserve those spots by any means. I worked with every single member of Team Compendium, and they were very helpful for me when I was a professor, and even to this day, a lot of them still talk to me. Even to this day, a lot of them still talk to me. I won't name any names there. But when I was judging, Mike Martin, Kim Carey, very helpful to me. And I've worked with both of them. I actually judged 2 of Kim Carey's regionals, and he's a very nice gentleman, and he deserves every accolade that he has. So yes, there's favoritism, but again, at the same time, there are people that definitely deserve, in my opinion, their so-called status.
Note to self: disabled Texas to Ohio transporter pad. No Tina's allowed. What? What? No, I agree with you.
No Tina's allowed.
No Tina's allowed. No, I agree with you. Frankly, I love AJ, and Mike is awesome. I mean, no wonder Mike was AJ's best man at his wedding. So, they call him Hulan here. See who else.
You know why they call Mikey Hulan? Because he can't pronounce Holan apparently. Back in the Holan set, he called Holan Hulan. That was an amazing set, by the way.
I love Holan Phantoms and stuff. It's awesome.
Phantom.
Yeah, because I like the cross typing. It was very nice.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we still have that kind of with the Alolan.
Oh well, I mean, really? Well, okay, yeah, I guess kinda. I mean, because Volcanion was like water or fire, but I mean, there's some Alolan ones that are like, oh, well, this guy's the other thing I didn't expect him to be. But I like the half of one type of energy and half the other type of energy, which is something that did in Steam Siege.
I mean, we can have an entire theory of Alolan Executor. If you look at the Japanese box of Executor, it looks like Executor has this long neck on the Japanese box of Jungle, and it actually looks like an Alolan Executor on a Japanese Jungle box. And so there's this theory that Alolan Executor existed in the Jungle series, and you look at something like Alolan Meowth, it just definitely looks like something that belongs in the Holan region. I mean, like, we had Electric for Alligator, right, in the Holan set, and it just makes sense that it just seems like Alola is part of the Holan region, because the Holan region was never really a thing in the show. It just Pokemon did it. And I mean, there's this big fan theory about, like, Alolan Raichu, because there was a surfing Pikachu in the second generation, and there's that entire theory that just freaking Alolan Raichu surfing on his tail. I mean, that's amazing in itself.
It kind of floats. Is it? Because I remember there's a pancake thing where he's floating on his tail. I don't remember.
It's floating on his tail.
Yeah.
It looks like it's surfing on his tail.
Right? I mean, yeah, it looks like he's surfing. I'm trying to remember, like, a scene in the cartoon where he was actually on water on his tail.
No, it wasn't in the cartoon. It was a Pikachu on top of a surfboard with blue eyes named Puka.
Because I have the surfing Pikachu card from the Evolution set, I want to say.
Yep.
Yeah, so
it just seems to be like a reference to surfing Pikachu. But we're getting into Pokemon conspiracy theories, which we can talk an entire day about Pokemon conspiracy theory.
Are you coming to Ohio for Origins?
No.
Oh. Fine. Are you coming? Wait a minute. Did they announce yet North American Internationals?
Yes. It's gonna be in Ohio. It's actually they didn't officially announce it, but it's on the venue leaked it.
Oh, okay. Because it's weird that they do it twice in a row at the same place.
I don't want to comment on the reason why I think they put it back in Ohio, not Indiana.
Meh. I mean, it's a closer trip for me. I mean, makes it like more likely I'll go for a day. Instead of Sunday, I'll probably go for a Saturday. I don't know. Alrighty. So the point here is Ohio's getting a regional, but it's not a regional. It's at Origins. It's a special event. Oop, air quotes, special event. And organized play happens trimestrally, and you need to play all year, but you have to spread that out during the course of the trimesters in which you can get your maximum points, which you can get your invite for Worlds. Anything we missed?
I think we need to talk about how organized play, in my opinion, kind of messed up this year with announcing the CP points, the CP limit extremely. I think a lot of people didn't play early on in the year because of that, and I think it discouraged people from playing. And once the 550 mark from the trading card game came out, I feel like people just gave up from there. And I think that's something that organized play can learn from. I don't know why it took them so long to announce it. I mean, I can guess why. Because of the new staff that they have in organized play. But I just, seeing it from a player's side, it seems bad. Seeing it from an organizer's side, or someone who used to be an organizer, I understand why it took so long. But I don't know how much we can talk about, how much we know about the inner workings of Pokemon, and since it's kind of common knowledge that some people don't work there anymore, and it takes time to hire new staff and things like that. But anytime someone either gets laid off or quits, and you have to hire new staff, or anytime someone gets promoted, sometimes that information gets pushed out slowly in the chain of command that is organized play. But I think from a player standpoint, I think once the 550 number came out, it can be very difficult. I know, like here in Texas, like I said, we have one drivable regionals, and it's expanded, and a lot of people don't like that. So, and this is the second year in a row we've had expanded. We had expanded regionals last year as well here in Texas, and I've been playing in the Houston area my entire adult life for organized play, and I feel like this year, compared to even 2 years ago, it doesn't. I mean, the junior senior age division almost doesn't exist anymore. I think we need to talk about that. I mean, at first, I was really for the fact that Pokemon was focusing more on the Masters Age division, because for years we dominated the scene for organized play, and we were investing the most money in organized play, and they were giving all the prize cards to the prizes to the kids, and it felt like as a master, like we never got anything out of it. And now it's the reverse, that they charge $35, $40, $45, $50 for regionals, and mommy and daddy don't want to pay $50 for little Timmy to go to regionals, because when regionals were free, I know sometimes that us league leaders, we would get together some crappy theme deck and have the kid play in a regionals just because it was free, and with the door prizes, and it was fun to do. And even if they lost every round, they could play in side events which were free, right? And we don't have that anymore, where little Timmy can go into a regionals and play for free. They have to pay $50, and I think there's a mentality that, well, I don't want to pay $50 if I'm going to lose.
See, that's funny, because when I was talking to Josh about regionals, my plan was an inexpensive regional where you could come in, you pay maybe because you have to get a badge. So you pay $5, you get a badge, you get a ID. That is all. Usually you get a badge / ID / and you get a booster pack. That's all it is to enter, and you're good to go. That was the barrier to entry. It was cheap. Everybody could do it. And going back to the attendance numbers, my League Cup recently, I think this is the most juniors and seniors I've ever had. I had 3 seniors and 2 juniors. That is horrible. And I get more kids for pre-releases than I do League Cups. So that tells you that the kids aren't really interested in competitive. They rather just play casually.
I think it's come to a point, and I don't know if this is a fact or not. You might have to talk to a regionals organizer about this. But I think on the Pokemon website, it guarantees you the playmat for entering, and Pokemon basically forces you to buy that playmat. And I believe that's $15 per playmat.
Oof. That is oof. Yeah, which is weird because I've only larger event I've ever been to was the North American International last year.
And then you have to think about staffing, and I think Organized Play still covers the staff booster box. I don't know that for a fact. I know they took away a lot from staffing when it came to rooms and stuff, but it's not just the venue you have to think about anymore. Yes, the venue is the large part of it. I mean, a free venue with a badge is great, but there is a lot of other things to think about, especially the mat, the hat, which you have to get for the video game players. There's staff rooms. Like I said, I don't know if Pokemon covers that anymore. I've heard different rumors about that, so you might actually. I don't know if you can get a regionals organizer to openly talk about that. But I know in the past some of that was covered. I don't know if that's the case anymore, because if you look at what Organized Play is doing, they've been unloading more and more and more off of themselves and on to the organizer, and that was very obvious when Pokemon stopped giving Premier Tournament organizers city championships, and they started doing League Cups because they were sick and tired of, well, I wouldn't say sick and tired, they didn't want to compensate the Premier Tournament organizers anymore for running city championships. And I can't openly talk about that and how much I know about that, but basically Premier Tournament organizers used to be compensated to run city championships. And now you as a normal organizer go to the store, charge money, give some to the store, give it some to your staff and yourself, and then some to the players. And in the old days, Organized Play used to give you booster boxes just to give to the players. And the change from Premier Tournament organizers to local league leaders to run city championships / League Cups is a great example of how Organized Play is pushing more responsibility on the organizers rather than themselves. So I think with that trend, you're going to see a lot less regionals, a lot more special events. So if you go to, I think if people are more like, hey, I'm willing to do a special event rather than a regionals, I think Pokemon might be more open to that, because once you say special event, you fund the entire thing, not them.
Yeah,
because that means you don't have to buy the mats. They don't have to provide the prizes. They don't have to provide the $5,000 first place prize, right?
Yeah, I'm no longer interested in running a regional. I mean, at this point, they're not interested. I'm not interested. I moved on in my life. Plus, I'm running a store at this point. Last year,
I'm just saying for anyone listening who's interested in running something like a regional, you're more likely to get an SPE than a regional at this point, and that's how I feel about it.
In my head, I'm like, you're more likely to get an STD than run a regional.
SPE, special event. If you look at places like Malaysia, they don't even have regionals. They have all SPEs. They have one freaking regionals in the Malaysia area. I mean, they have 3 in all of where is it?
Asia?
Australia.
Australia. Okay.
Australia. They have 3 regionals in all of Australia. Last year, they had a grand total of 3 or 4 total in Brazil. I think they had 1 in Chile and then 1 in Mexico City, and that was it. and we talk about 13 plus regionals here in the US. I don't think, I mean, organized play has, I believe, a $10 million budget a year. Don't quote me on that, and don't ask me why I know that. But I think organized play has an interesting job to fill when it comes to being international. And going back to the Europe topic I was talking about earlier, Europe, I feel like, got a lot less this year than it did last year. But you do have events like, I think it was Dubai SPE, and I mean, that's amazing that we had a Dubai SPE.
14 U.S. and Canada North America regionals. Sorry, U.S. and Canada regionals, and then 4 European regionals, 3 Latin American regionals, 5 Oceanic regionals, and that is it.
Yeah. And 3 of those Oceanic regionals, I believe, are in Australia. One was I believe, in Kuala Lumpur, and I don't know what the other one was. Maybe Singapore?
Let's see. Hong Kong.
Yeah, Hong Kong. Yeah, Hong Kong. I thought Hong Kong was SPE, but I know there was Kuala Lumpur, 3 in Australia.
Oh, did I lose you? Oh, there you go.
No, I'm still here. But if you talk about places like Europe, I mean, Europe has a huge player base in places like Belgium and the UK. I mean, huge player base, and I think the UK only has 1 regional. If I remember, Birmingham, maybe another one. I forget the other one.
Bristol and Harrogate.
Was there Birmingham? I forget.
No. They have.
That might have been last year.
They have Frankfurt, Germany, Harrogate, UK, Bristol, UK, and Sweden. I dare not.
Yeah, I knew about. Yeah. It's actually not in Frankfurt. It's just east of Frankfurt.
This is Offenbach.
Yeah, Frankfurt, Offenbach. It's just east of Frankfurt. I actually applied for that regionals right before I left the professor program. But no, I think Frankfurt was a great place to have a regional. Other than Leipzig, I liked going to Leipzig, don't get me wrong. Anyone listen to this, I loved going to Leipzig. But Frankfurt, I mean, yeah, nicer place to have a regional because, especially for international travel, I mean, my airport has a direct flight to Frankfurt. Just saying.
Okay. So, U.S. and Canada special event schedule, obviously the one in Origins. European special event schedule, they have Spain, France, 2 in France, 1 in Italy. And then Oceanic, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, Hong Kong, Taiwan. Multiple times in a number of these places. Latin America, it is 2 or 3 pages long. It is a lot of places. Chile, Panama, Argentina, Ecuador, El Salvador, Sao Paulo, Brazil, Peru, Costa Rica, Paraguay, Guatemala. It is all over the place, but there's special events. Russia doesn't have anything this year. South Africa don't have anything this year.
And that's the reason why, like I said before, I feel like Pokemon's going more to the special event dealo than a regionals dealo. And I wouldn't be surprised if eventually we don't have regionals altogether. And I don't like saying that, but Pokemon's goal. And Pokemon's been very open about this since the beginning, so I don't think this has to be said. But Pokemon is with I mean, their budget is a lot more than it was in 2004 when it was $4 million. They're now at 10. They're now at 10. I don't want to sound like I'm part of organized play because I'm not. But the Pokemon's goal has always been an international program. And anytime you run an international program, you look at league product. Just league product. How much money do you think they spend on league product? With all those leagues around the world, right? And organized play, their priority will always be international league. Why? Because little Timmy will go to Walmart and buy a freaking Pokemon pack. And that's where Pokemon and Walmart make a lot of money. Pokemon makes absolutely no money when you go to your distributor and buy, a $70 box. I mean, granted, they still make money because, what is it? One pack of Pokemon cards costs 6 to 10 cents with the rare inside, or with the hollow inside. But Pokemon wants to be good with its distributors. Okay? When you have wholesale distributors, and when you have people like on Verbank Mart that buy boxes off of eBay for distributor price, which is like $78, $80, or that's just above distributor price. But you talk about shipping, you don't make any money off of that. Let's be honest, because I know what distributor price is. But the thing is, the distributors distribute to places like Walmart, your local hobby shop, like where you work at, right? And Pokemon wants kids to go to the local hobby shop, play cards, buy cards from your hobby shop, and which basically why you have to run a league at a hobby shop now, is because Magic the Gathering has been doing that for years. And Pokemon's like, okay, we're going to try what Magic does and go to the hobby shop. Now, there's pros and cons with that with Pokemon. There's a big con in Pokemon where you have a lot of hobby shops that don't know how to play Pokemon. And with Magic, you have adults that know the rules, right? They just play the game. It's not a really big deal. With Pokemon, it's more of a hands-on tutoring process, especially for kids. So, I mean, there is pros and cons. It depends who your league leader is. There's some league leaders who are the store, and we've heard stories about those. Stores running things like cups, and there was a story on Verbank where a store let people play Uxie from Legends Awakened as Shaman, and I think that was one of the most popular stories online. And I don't look. I just think that if we have problems like that, I think Pokemon needs to say, hey, we need someone who's more of a vet helping these stores with the program. But I think where Pokemon's going now, in general, is very positive. Yes, there are cons to it, but like you have things like Magic Arena, where you can get an invite through Magic Arena. I mean, that's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie, but Pokemon still has ways to go when it comes to technology, when it comes to communication, especially with their team, which I said before may not be completely their fault because some people quit or got laid off. But I just think that coming into the future, organized play needs to find people who are willing to stick around. And so that, because at the end of the day, they're a team, whether they like it or not. And whether people got fired or left or whatever, the more that people or organized play associates leave their positions, it only hurts the players. And if it hurts the players, it hurts the organizers. Because if the players don't want to play, the organizers have no reason to run events. Because a good organizer, in my opinion, they don't do it for themselves. They don't do it for the money. They do it for the people in the community who want to play Pokemon. Especially people like myself who ran video game events who don't necessarily play the video game. And in that situation, I think it was very clear to everybody that I did that for the community and not myself. And I think there needs to be people that organized play puts in certain spots who are willing to be those volunteers. Obviously, I can't, but I think I don't know what organized play wants to do. I mean, they've been going down this esport thing with streaming and the $5,000 money, and you have all these Yu-Gi-Oh players coming in, and that's a different topic. But I mean, it's very interesting where this game has gone in the last even 3 years. So I don't know how you feel about the money and all the people who flooded into this game because of the money.
Well, most of my Yu-Gi-Oh players did switch to Pokemon once the money thing became real. So, yeah, it really was an incentive. A lot of people... here's the funny thing now. A lot of people I know play Pokemon solely because now the game has a cash incentive. I mean, back in the old days before 2016, we couldn't really monetize Pokemon. It was frowned upon. Mm-hmm. So now that it's, I guess we can do cash payout sometimes type of situation, and now that some laws have changed in Ohio in particular, it is all plausible. And Pokemon, specifically anything organized, is still kind of frowned on in general, especially when it comes to masters and in juniors and seniors. For masters, they're I want to say okay with it, but they're not okay with it. But they've made it very clear: juniors and seniors cannot play for cash. Mm-hmm. They cannot. And doesn't matter what your laws are.
I would not be surprised if organized play eventually redoes the age divisions. And I would not be surprised if they do them to the Japanese age divisions. And I know this is extremely unpopular with a lot of people in the United States, but I can see it being 12 and under, 13 to 17, and 18 plus. And I know there'll be a lot of parents who'll be very angry hearing this, but I think eventually we're going to come to that point where it's 12 and under, 13 to 17, and 18 plus. And I think we're headed in that direction, and I could be wrong about that, but I would not be surprised if organized play eventually goes down that road in the next 5 years. Maybe earlier than that. But I mean, there's some people who just they complain about the 11 to 14 age group as it is. I mean, if you're complaining about the 11 to 14 age group, have fun. It's I think 13 to 17 it is a large age group, but you know, you have the 18 age group as their own age group. You get rid of a lot of the issues we're having now with the whole money argument. Now I know the gambling age here in the United States is 21. But I think I just if Pokemon announced tomorrow that the age groups are 12 and under, 13 to 17, and 18 and plus, I'll be like, yeah, that's how they do it in Japan. That would be literally my what I would say tomorrow, and I would not be surprised.
Huh. Yeah. So yeah, it's skewed heavily in favor of the kids, or sorry, of the adults. And
It is heavily favored to the adults, and I was actually for that when it first came out because it was heavily skewed to the kids for a very long time, and it actually is still heavily skewed to the kids right now because you have a very small junior age division. It's really easy to get top 8 regionals to get your invite that way. So on the one hand, I mean, if you look at VG juniors, one of my guys literally have been to like 3 regionals this year, and they got second at the IC in Brazil, and they're like top 4 in the world, and they're not even trying to get points.
That's funny. It sounds like a local player here who's been world championship. You ever hear Chris Fulop? Yeah, he stopped playing. He went to Magic, and then he came to a league challenge last month, and just put a deck together on site. Like literally, just grabbed some cards out of my bulk, put the deck together, and won. That happens. That is natural talent right there.
Yeah, I could see Chris Fulop doing that.
So I find it because he does it about annually because he gets bored with Magic, and it always tickles me that he can just do that.
Mm-hmm.
Just some players are gifted.
And I'm so tempted to go to Magic. I mean, I really got back into it during 19. War of the Spark looks amazing. I mean, organized play is going in a direction that I don't know if I want to go in that direction. I mean, just it's just I know in Magic the Gathering, like you don't get like prize penalties at quad prize penalties. You just get game losses and DQs and warnings. They don't even have cautions. And I've gotten cautions in Magic for not finishing my upkeep and drawing a card. So I mean that's scary stuff. And I remember the first time I got a warning for that, I was like, holy crap, in Pokemon they just would tell you to draw a card, and that would be the end of the story, right? But it's just... I don't want to sound like... I don't want to sound mean, but there's a lot of people who come over from Yu-Gi-Oh! And I just don't like it. And because I've always seen the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community is extremely toxic, and it feels like those people who have come over to the Pokemon community, and I'm not going to name any names, of course, but it's like, I'll give one example. A Yu-Gi-Oh! Guy is in a Pokemon event, and he's like, but in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's what you do. It doesn't matter what you say. In Pokemon, it matters what you say. Like, if you say an attack, that's your attack. And this guy was literally arguing with the judge about Pokemon.
I would kind of need an example of what do you mean is what you do versus what you say. I like, everything is done by voice. Like, if you don't say it, how do you know you're doing it?
I mean, you'll have people who there's a guy who played Tapu Lele Wonder Tag, and then didn't call Wonder Tag, and then played Nest Ball, and then he's like, well, I'm going to do Nest Ball and Wonder Tag at the same time, and his opponent rule lawyered him on it, which you technically have to say Wonder Tag. And for those listening, you should say Wonder Tag. You don't say Tapu Lele, you say Wonder Tag. you say the ability. You don't say, I'm using Tapu Lele's ability. You don't say Tapu Lele. You don't say Shaman for 6. You say set up for 6. You say the ability. And the reason why, and actually a lot of people here get really annoyed with that. There's this one judge here that gets really annoyed with it. And the reason why is back in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, there was a card called Power Spray. And when your opponent used an ability, you could play Power Spray and cancel their power. So you had to make it very clear when you're using a power, and you had to say the power name, and then you had 3 seconds to play Power Spray. And even to this day, I'll announce an ability, wait 3 seconds, and do the ability. And it's just ingrained in me, and people are like, Tina, not everyone played in Heart Gold Soul Silver. I'm like, but there's a lot of people who have played in Heart Gold Soul Silver. And, we have old format that a lot of people play old format with HGSS. And, I don't think you should be penalizing people on like, Heart Gold Soul Silver habits. It's just horrible. And, I think gameplay over time has gotten sloppy. You have someone who put Juniper on their deck list and not Professor Juniper, and they got smacked in the face, not literally, because there's a Cedric Juniper in the game. I remember that happened at Nationals, where the guy wrote Juniper and not Professor Juniper, and they got a penalty because Cedric Juniper is a card. And I think people need to realize that this is Pokemon. There is a set of rules. And, people say Seeker? I'm like, why are you talking about Seeker? Are you talking about Via Seeker?
You mean Versus Seeker?
Yeah, I call it Via Seeker, or Versus Seeker. But there's actually a card called Seeker. Right. I don't know if you know that. There's a card called Seeker. Yeah, there's a card called Seeker. But there's Seeker and Via Seeker are 2 different cards. And I'm like, guys, Seeker and Via Seeker are 2 different cards. Just saying.
You don't gotta spell out Professor. You can do Prof. Just as long as we know who you're talking about.
Yeah, you can put Prof Sycamore.
Yep.
You can't just put Sycamore, because there's Cedric Sycamore. You can't just put Juniper, because there's Cedric Juniper.
Just a minute. Wow, that was a tangent, Tina.
We were talking about politics earlier. I could talk about politics all night, too. What do you think about Andrew Yang?
Yeah, so, a lot of my Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, although I have to admit, most of my Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are pretty good guys, so I never ran into the situation a lot of people seem to have run into, more closer to the Cleveland and Akron areas, where the Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are a bit rowdy, or noisy, or smelly, or any of those things. I never really ran into that.
The Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yes, Konami's new, you must bathe.
Can we talk about the shower rule?
I don't have an Ami to put on screen, but I'm sure I can find it. But go ahead. I was like,
Okay. So for those who don't play Yu-Gi-Oh, and those who are for listening to this, Yu-Gi-Oh! Konami, who runs Yu-Gi-Oh, made a rule that basically says if you don't shower, you could be asked to leave the event. Is that basically what it is?
You need to be clean and you must not stink.
Yeah. It basically says you must shower. For Yu-Gi-Oh! To make a rule that says you can't stink. I saw that and I was like, I can't believe they had to make that rule.
Yeah, I'm surprised other companies haven't done it though. But I have to admit, of the larger Yu-Gi-Oh! Events that I have judged, Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, I know sometimes I start to wonder. Here's the funny thing.
Pokemon has the hygiene rule. I think they still have the hygiene rule.
I think they have some.
Yeah.
In the tournament, general tournament rules. But, I'm trying, so for example, 2016, I was doing an event for a private company who should not be named here. I've never
seen it enforced, though. I've never seen it enforced. Hygiene rule.
Yeah, so private company, I was running there it was sanctioned for Pokemon after negotiating anyway. anyway, so we go to this event. It's in Oklahoma, and we are at a hotel where the event's going to be based. It's in the Grand Ballroom. It's a pretty nice size room, and there's these group of Yu-Gi-Oh players, and I'm running, of course, Pokemon, and there's a different guy running the Yu-Gi-Oh, and so the Yu-Gi-Oh players camped out in the hotel's, I want to say dining area, more or less. Basically, they would attend the event and then leave the hotel during the daytime, so they wouldn't look like they were, loitering, I guess. And then at night, when the different clerk would come in, they would basically loiter in the hotel. Basically, they had no hotel room. I asked one of the guys, I say, do you guys even have a room? They're like, no. We drove down here or up here, wherever it was. Oh, and they were actually from Texas, now that I'm thinking about it. They basically had no plans other than playing the tournament all weekend, because it was a 2-day event, and they were just going to go home afterwards. So they basically unbathed the whole weekend. They got there on Friday, they were leaving on Sunday, and I thought to myself, well, I'm kind of happy I'm not judging their event.
So I see in chat we're supposed to talk about Pokemon lore as well, or is that last week?
Oh, so what we're going to do next month, because I'm already working on the history of Pokemon, which is going to be a straight-up historical piece that I'm actually already working on. I'll publish next month. But the discussion with Pokemon lore is actually, we would go through and discuss, starting for, I guess, RCS, working our way through Pokemon, the history of the...
Pokemon lore is a really rough topic.
And we're not going to get into that today, so...
just between you and me, since we're still on air, because I'm not negating the fact that, Arceus created the universe with 1,000 arms in lore, but the thing is, Arceus came a lot later within things like Mew, which has the DNA of all Pokemon, so I feel like the lore sometimes overlaps each other, sometimes, and you had the conspiracy theories in Pokemon as well. You have the Ashes in a Coma theory, which is heavily implied in the Ho-Oh movie, the Ashes in a Coma, and there's so much to talk about.
Right, we're not doing that today. That is actually a full-on discussion on its own that I was gonna worry about next month, because I was kind of targeting everything around the Detective Pikachu movie release. But I've been slowly... I still
don't know how I feel about that movie.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to the Mewtwo 3D update coming out later this year.
Oh yeah, that looks amazing.
Yeah, so I
hope to God that they translate that correctly this time.
Well,
just the original translation was absolutely horrid. They cut the first 3 minutes out of the movie. Yes, it's tragic. Yes, it's very adult themed, but it is part of the story. And I think that if you show the fact that poor Mewtwo had to see a human clone die in front of its eyes and lose its Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle friends who were cloned, it just makes Mewtwo seem a lot more emotional than it really was in the first movie. It went through horrible stuff before it did what it did, and I think it's a really rough topic. But Pokemon the first movie is a really tough topic. It talks about cloning, and cloning humans in Pokemon the first movie is extremely controversial, but that's what the movie is, and you can't get away from that.
I feel like, because the difference is 4Kids versus Viz, so I feel like Viz would be, since Viz does heavily a lot of anime and they really don't alter it too much, that it maybe would go with the original storyline. But then I don't know what studio is doing the 3D. Is it Viz still, or?
I don't know if it's just because I know 4Kids just smashed it into pieces.
Well, 4Kids is now part of Konami, and they still handle Yu-Gi-Oh's anime. So
you know what? 4Kids did an amazing job on card captors. And if you watch the card captors in Japanese versus the card captors in the US, yes, there were some changes to make it more kid-friendly, but it wasn't as extreme as it was in Pokemon the first movie. And like I said before, I understand Pokemon the first movie was a very deep topic, but that's what it was for. And it will always be an extremely deep topic, because the fact is, Mewtwo was upset that it wasn't naturally born in this world. That's what the story is about.
okay, so moving on. Do you want to play a game now? I have an electric deck that I've actually won 3 in a row with now.
Okay, I'll play you.
Okay, so it's standard. Challenge me when you're ready.
What should I play you with?
No, because the history, I figure it's just cold hard facts. It's really kind of just boring and dry, unless you're really into it. So we don't really need to discuss the product history. Although there are 4 main product lines for Pokemon. There's the TV show, the anime, the video games, and the card game. So
Right, I mean, I know a lot about the anime, because I've seen all the movies in Japanese, and I've seen most of the anime season 1 to 12 in Japanese. I've not watched all of it in English.
So right now I'm trying to decide how I want to, because right now, if I were to take all the images I've accrued, that is 200 slides. I don't want to do that. So I'm trying to group things together into common images, and I still got to grab the 20-some seasons of the TV show. I think we're at 23 or something like that. So, and then,
I'm really far behind. I mean, Sun and Moon, the animation makes me sad. I mean, that's another story for another day, how Sun and Moon makes me sad. I can't stand Rotom Pokedex.
bicycle.
I mean, like, Pokemon the 5th movie, the Latios movie.
You mean Forever?
I mean, yeah.
Because that was the 4th movie.
Oh, that was 5. Pokemon 4 was Celebi.
Wait a minute, what? Oh, you're right. Well, Forever confuses me when it says Forever.
No, it was Mewtwo.
Oh, Forever was Celebi,
Lugia,
that's right. Okay.
Lugia, and then Entei, and then Celebi.
Oh, so confusing.
No, Celebi. Oh my gosh. When that movie came out in Japanese, I literally cried when Celebi died. I cried my eyes out when Celebi died. How did you get 3 energy on yourself?
Because of my first move. Ugh, that hurts. Okay, none of this helps. No! Let's see, 270. Here goes nothing. If it succeeds. You son of a what? No! No! What?
How did you just GX for nothing?
I can't cannot believe that! I got past the one hurdle and then totally zeroed out.
Head-time confusion and then... Oh my god, I feel bad for you. You needed 3 heads though, right?
Yep. Figure 75% chance. This is good odds. I can do with it. Never mind.
I feel sorry for you on that. We're going to have to definitely up that that to Burbank later. That was definitely flippies in my favor.
Man, I am so boned.
I'm sorry to hear that. But yeah, the Latios movie. Oh my god! I mean, Latios. Oh my! I was expecting Latios to come back to life the entire movie, like the entire end of the movie, and it never did. And I was like, oh my gosh! They just killed off Latios. Dance of the Ancients only help bench Pokemon.
So? Wait, what? Oh, poops. Okay.
Yeah, I told you that only helps bench Pokemon.
Ah, poop. Well, there goes my streak.
Every passing day the winds might grow strong.
Okay, I don't know why Arceus is in this deck then.
What?
I don't know why I put Arceus in this deck. It makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
I have same question. I guess I'm going to remove him out of the deck. I just never played him before.
That is not my fault.
I mean, he takes damage, so it's not like, why is he in my deck? I mean, maybe I read it wrong. Ah, poop. I just realized what you put on the other... Well, this is just sad. With...
Wait, how did you do no damage? Oh yeah, you did no damage.
Your Aether Paradise, you know? 30 less?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll do damage to you because I burn and poison you.
Let's see if I can get past this. And there goes my streak. I'm sad now. Heal anyway. Well, that was disappointing. See, now, I sometimes wonder, maybe you know the answer to this. As I've been playing with this deck, Do you think it like changes like your level of challengers based on your record?
Yes, it's ELO based.
Okay, so that's why I've been going against people like. Okay, so let's go to my deck manager. I remove Arceus and wonder why the heck he was in there in the first place. Oop. Get you out of here. La la la. Filters. Mm-hmm.
So I started playing on this Minecraft server that is 1/1000th the scale of the world, and they were looking for staff, and so I filled out a staff application. And one of the questions was, "How long have you been on the server?" And I would put 1 day smiley face.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're like, "What makes you better than everybody else?" I'm like, "Well, I've been administrator at multiple servers for over 10 years. I've IP tracing, proxy identification skills, and yeah, I have a degree in math and an associates in science and C++, and everything else I've done in my life." But yeah, I was just, "How long you been here?" 1 day smiley.
Yep. Let's see. I'm not quite sure what to place Arceus with.
Arceus.
You know what? Let me filter types out. Go this way. Hmm. I already did this one, right? I wish I had more Zora Aura GX because the free retreat is freaking awesome. I only got one of him. I really could use the second one. Actually, no. Oh, what I really need is a Suicune from like Black and White, where nothing that's an EX or GX can attack him. That would be really awesome. Oh, you know what? Can I further this? On ability apply. No, nope. Well, that. Oh, there we go. Nope. Nope. Oh, it's just different art. Okay. Nope. Huh. I'm running out of idea. What's another good Pokemon for an electric deck? I might try something else. Well, actually, I don't hate that too much. Maybe. Nope. Wait, what? Nope. Yeah. Actually, throw him in, call it the day. Yeah. Ooh, actually, can I change one thing real quick? Here. Save. Did I not get it in the game? I thought. Oh, whatever. Okay. Means absolutely nothing. Okay, you want to try one more time?
Sure.
Okay, send another invite. Aw. That kind of sucks. Huh. Poop. I'm not quite sure how to do that and not screw myself. Poop. I didn't get any electric energy, so I'm like sitting here going, uh-oh.
That is your fault, not mine.
Fine. Whatever.
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 Whatever. Outrage for 40. Oh, 50.
Poops. Jesus, Pete. I didn't... What the heck? Oh, poop.
It is 170 damage to a bench Pokemon.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. I have the cards in real life, too, and I never even caught that.
Yeah, if I have 3 extra energy on me, it does 170 damage to a bench Pokemon. It kills a Tapu Lele for free 2 prizes. It's kind of good.
Poops.
Poops.
Just poops.
Poops.
One big hand. Crap. Okay, no! There goes that strategy. Huh. That doesn't help me at all. Well, that sucked. Just gonna slap you with my limp wrist right there. Just wham. It actually didn't take a prize this time. This is actually more vicious than the other deck. I don't know how I survived that. It's weird. There is really no good outcome here. You know, my flips have been dead on, like, perfect today, but everything else, not so much. Or, you know, my positive, you know, see if I can do the move flips. My actually doing damage with the flips have sucked. And this is why I don't play competitively.
I won an ARG, though. Did you see that?
Yeah, but that doesn't really mean very much, considering, you know, how they run their stuff.
Actually, the ARG here was run by local organizers, so it's not that bad. I got four invites out to Atlantic City.
Meh.
Does anyone actually go to that because it's the week after the IC?
I think the last one they did, they canceled or postponed because of the low RSVP. So no.
How do you RSVP to that?
You get an invite and then you're supposed to contact them. I think that's how it's work. It would be weird to set up an event expecting people to show up for invites and then nobody shows up, but you just pay $2,000+ or whatever it is at minimum to get there, and then find out nobody's there, and then you're like, why do we just spend all this money? They make money on the sales or the purchases of the cards they buy from the people coming to the event, and then they turn it around on their website, and that's how they make their money back. So the event is a money loser, but the sales online is what makes the money back. So if people don't show up, right, and then they just lose money.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, they had one locally at their store here in Ohio, and I guess it's just the invites around the holiday time. I guess it was they didn't meet the numbers and they axed it. So, and then they postponed it into spring or something. I don't know how exactly. I have no dealings with it. This is all secondhand from other people. So, yeah, if things don't work out, I mean, in any business should, if you don't have the numbers, do not lose money because you're stubborn. Cancel it and reschedule. I don't encourage any business to just purposely lose money because you're too stubborn yeah. Going back real quick about organized play, leaving it to the stores, what you sacrifice is autonomy. So Pokemon, they have a hard time telling stores, hey, you're doing something wrong, or hey, you can't be doing this at all, because they look at the stores as there's a kind of a a chart, I guess. Like, you need the stores to get people in to look at the product and go, oh, this looks cool, to get the people to buy the product. It doesn't necessarily mean they'll buy the product at that particular store. They may buy it at Walmart or Target or wherever, but they use the hobby shops to perpetuate interest in the product. And then that's where their stream starts at, and then it's a vicious circle, and they figure if they bring the events to the stores, more people will come to the stores, see the product, learn the game, buy more product. You'd be surprised how many people come into a hobby shop one time, learn the game, and never come back. It is not uncommon. And that goes for every game. I have taught people how to play games and expected them, they said, oh, I'll be back next week or whatever, and never seen them again. Because they've learned what they wanted to learn, so they can play the game with their friends or whatever, with no intention of coming back, because they spent the money they needed to start the game, and they're done. They'll go to wherever else, even though it costs more at Walmart or wherever, it's just more convenient for them. Even though we cost, I think it's on average 15-20% less than Walmart, etc. Mm-hmm. But we're out of the way for that.
I think the big issue when it comes, not the card game, but the video game, and I see this more in the video game than the card game. The new people will come in, they'll get their hands handed to them, or butts handed to them by pros, and they don't want to come back. And luckily here, if you're a junior or senior, the Masters players are kind of help you, but if you're a Master, good luck. And that's always been the attitude here, that we'll help the juniors and seniors, but we won't help fellow Masters. And, it used to work really well for the community here, but it's not working. I mean, we had this one guy who came in with, I think it was like the Blastoise theme deck or the Charizard theme deck. Granted, that it's actually kind of a good theme deck. And he entered, I think, a cup and got his just butt handed to him. And, I haven't seen him since. And, he messaged me like, hey, how can I make this better? I'm like, well, you're going to have to get staples like Poor Cynthia for Ultra Ball, stuff like that. And, he's like, well, I can build a magic deck and it almost be competitive. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't work like that in Pokemon. And yeah, I think I think the theme decks could be better. Granted, they have gotten a little bit better since the last. We have had 2 different sets that had Cynthia in it: the Garchomp one and the Charizard and Polion one. But, like, people just, if you're brand new to the game, pick up a theme deck, play in a league challenge, you're just gonna get creamed.
That's why you tell people, if you want to start playing, go to a pre-release, it's casual, it's fun, you learn to play, and a lot of pre-releases do a little bit of price support, so if you actually turn out to be good, you'll get a little extra. Some do giveaways. At least in my case, and the ones that I help organize, we actually do it a little bit cheaper than other places do. So the trade-off is a little bit less barrier to entry.
Yeah, pre-releases have. No, I don't know if I should talk about this, but I'll talk about it because the organizers in my area are well aware this is going on. There's this one guy who has 2 or 3 kids, and he'll buy 4 pre-release kits. And he'll combine them together, and he'll do it like in a corner or something like that, so no one sees him. And he's been reported to the organizers multiple times. But the thing is, organizers don't like DQing people in pre-releases. It's just not worth the hassle to some of these people. And I don't want to see any names, but their pre-releases in my area have been going downhill since this guy's been playing, because, like you said, we do have small bits of prize support here. If you win all 3 rounds, you get a few extra packs. And people just flat out won't play because there's one guy. Yeah. And, another reason that pre-releases are very unpopular here is because um you, you can start off with you get 4 booster packs, and if you're paired against someone that pulled a GX or tag team, you basically automatically lose.
Luck of the draw in that case.
So I think Pokemon needs to look into uh, getting the pull rate better for pre-release, or they should flat out say you shouldn't play GXs during the pre-release.
Or maybe
because it seems like a lot of people here just play one GX and 39 energies. That's very popular here.
I mean, yes. Well, in which case, the little staples pack you get with basically what you would need to build a deck out of. If you got crap, they could throw a GX in there that could work for. I mean, colorless GX that can work for any deck, and that way you at least get a GX, no matter how your packs turn out.
Right, but what's that? Was it Crimson Invasion? There are like at least half the tournament was playing Guzzlord and 39 energies.
Yes. Legendary Treasures, they did a promo GX. It was Tornadus. So they have done it in the past.
You can't play with your promo. Well, now you can.
You can now, yeah. So they have done it. I'm just saying they could do it again. Just putting that out there for anybody hearing it. Just, you know. So anyway, if you're in North Central Ohio this coming week, Sunday the 21st. I have to double check that. I believe that is correct. Yes.
Why do you have an event on Easter Sunday?
Because I had no choice. And so it is, in fact, Easter Sunday. 1 o'clock registration begins. 1:30 is to start. Kid Force Collectibles in Berea. It is $25 to enter, plus tax if you're using a credit card. You can get to that pre-release in Berea. You can find it on Facebook. So it's, of course, this is from Broken Bonds, if you weren't aware. So again, Sunday the 21st at 1:30 p.m. So be there around 1-ish. The kits are limited. They only have space for 20 players. So, pop in there. On Thursday the 25th at Level 2 Games in Avon, Ohio, registration starts at 6. The event starts at 6:30. It is also $25. $25 plus tax if you use a credit card. Same dealio. It is the events are run exactly the same, except at Level 2 at least. I don't know how Kid Force does it different because I may have set up the event. I don't necessarily run the event at Kid Force, but at Level 2, those who do really well will get additional booster packs on top of the additional 3 that you get at the end. We have spaces for 30, so we can get a little extra players in. And if we have any extras left over, we will run a second flight on the following Sunday, the 28th, which we'll announce at the event once I know how many people show up. So check out Facebook. You can go to Kid Force Collectibles Facebook page as well as Level 2 Games Facebook page in Ohio. Is there anything around you, Tina, that you want to promote?
Yes, please go to the Houston Play Pokemon page on Facebook and Twitter. We have probably multiple events coming up, probably too many to name, so Houston Play Pokemon. Also, please visit the event locator on Pokemon.com. Put in your zip code and find an event near you.
Okay, so thank you all for tuning in, and sorry that we ran a little bit long. Tina ran a little bit late, and I was on a winning streak until Tina ruined my dreams. And then, don't forget, Origins is coming up, so special event. So technically, not technically, Ohio's getting a regional, so special event. So it's not a regional, but Origins. So it's going to be crowded, I think. I've never been to an Origins. I was invited a couple years ago, but I had to work, so I couldn't go.
Also, if I've been to Origins once, they have a lot more than Pokemon at Origins.
Yeah,
if If you like D&D, Magic, other card games, board games, it's worth going. It's an entire con, so even if it's definitely worth going. It's Wednesday through Sunday, I believe. It's a very long convention.
OriginGameFair.com.
I went in 2008 myself. It's completely worth going if you live in the area. It's worth the 4-hour drive if you're in driving distance.
Columbus Convention Center.
Yeah, like I said, it's completely worth going to. D&D, you can do basically any board game. It's extremely fun. It's worth going. Like I said, it's not just Pokemon, so if you get Pokemon's out, you can play other games at the Origins Game Fairs. I highly suggest it.
Also, a lot of swag.
Yeah, there's a lot of swag.
It's just a lot of free stuff. Okay, and then the hotels are like attached to the convention center, so that's even great too. So you don't really have to go outside if you don't want to. So if the sun burns, you can stay indoors.
Or, I mean, you can put on suntan lotion.
I mean, sure, you can do that too.
Don't burn. I'm Asian. I don't burn, so.
I get nicely roasted. I rarely burn myself. But,
I mean, I tan, right?
Yeah. I'm Sicilian, so.
Well, I'm 100% Korean. I mean, I was born in Seoul, so, I mean, yeah, I'm Korean, so I don't burn, so.
Okay.
Kind of a thing.
Okay. This is the longest goodbye ever. Okay. So we've advertised the show's coming up, so we'll see. Well, I don't know how many. I'm going to be at a couple of these things, hopefully.
We're going to talk about Pokemon lore, apparently, and maybe go into some of the Pokemon movies and some of the games. There's so many aspects of Pokemon lore, especially when it comes to anime and games. I mean, I could talk forever about Pokemon lore.
Next month. I don't want to get into it now. Tony's brain's going to explode. He has to work tomorrow still.
I'm sorry, Anthony. Not really, but okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I still need to finish the history video. Hopefully it won't be too boring. But
you can do Pocket Monsters, or for short, Pokemon.
I mispronounced it like Naruto. Naruto. And somebody criticized me.
You could do like Pocket the Monsters, right? How they didn't
Pikachu. Yeah. Gojira. No. Okay. Now we're just wasting time. Okay. Talk to you all later. Goodbye.
Bye.